Hello, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles. I hope you're having a great week so far. So, today I want to talk about some of the issues that have been kind of swept under the rug with our big god of the sports card hobby known as Michael Rubin. And, when you dig into Michael Rubin, you're going to find some things that pertain to P Diddy in a way. And I'm sure you know about Michael Rubin's white parties that he's had for a few years. As far as I know, he's not going to do a white party this year or possibly ever again because of all the bad press, bad rumors, overall bad look it is for him to keep doing it because of the everything to do with P Diddy. So you start digging into Michael Rubin, and I went to X today. Pulled this up on X, and this is just a simple, I guess, magazine cover that he just did. It's from Boardroom. It says here, you see Michael Rubin courtside at the exclusive parties and in every room that matters, but that's just noise. His real obsession, Fanatics. The empire he's built into an absolute powerhouse. Okay. And this is from Michael Rubin's account. Okay. And what caught me is this first statement here. You see Michael Rubin courtside at the exclusive parties and in every room that matters. Okay. And that is really kind of Michael Rubin's MO. Are these exclusive parties? Okay. He had the shoe business when he was young, and he's been in business for a long time. But there's issues with Michael Rubin, and why. You're going to see why they like to call him the White Diddy or the White Diddler. This is like the official Travis Scott subreddit. What I'm showing you here is something you may not be aware of about Michael Rubin. And this is the infamous Oreo hug, with Lil Baby. So Lil Baby is this rapper that Michael Rubin, has really helped out, pals around with, whatever. And here you can see, like this white party that he had last year. Here's Lil Baby, and this is the infamous Oreo hug. There's Michael Rubin, and clearly behind Lil Baby, and then you have, I'm not sure who that is in the front. Like it says here, I don't know, man. Since he became a reverse Oreo at the all white party, I've been looking at him different. Is that homophobic? Okay, and I'm not a homophobic individual. If someone is homosexual or bisexual, I don't have a problem with it, But the issue with this hug and Michael Rubin, and there's a lot of talk about it, and people wondering, like it says here, this is from CY Shells. Academics react to Lil Baby speaking on his famous reverse Oreo hug with Michael Rubin and says he gets his point. But how come we never see Michael Rubin in those uncomfortable positions? The stuff you're allowing him to do to you, you wouldn't let a guy from the hood do that to you. Talking about, these, kind of weird hugs, that Michael Rubin does with Lil Baby. All right. And then we hit this. And, this is TikTok. And there's kind of a prevailing view on TikTok. And you definitely get the sense that, like it says here, Feds calling Michael Rubin, Diddy served young rappers to him. The White Diddler. Okay. I'm not going to play these videos. I don't want to, get a copyright strike. But I definitely recommend going to TikTok and, watching these videos. Because, there are a lot of rumors on why they call Michael Rubin the White Diddler. Here's a few pictures. Here you see Lil Baby. I'm not sure who that is on the left there, but that looks like a kind of a hug too. And people are asking themselves why maybe these black rappers like Meek Mills and Lil Baby, who were tied in with P Diddy, and they're really close now with Michael Rubin. And the prevailing message overall that I've gotten out of this is that, these black rappers allow, like, Michael Rubin to, I guess, kind of touch them differently than they would anyone else, because Michael Rubin is a white billionaire. All right. Just putting that out there. So when you look at the lifestyle of Michael Rubin, it's hard not to see the similarities between him and P Diddy, even with the white parties, And yeah, he's not going to have one, this year because, of all the bad press that he gets, that goes along with it. But when you start to dig into this relationship with these rappers like Meek Mills and Lil Baby, the White Diddler label, and the fact that a lot of rappers are talking about, these parties, and this and that, like I said, it is Michael Rubin, another, I guess, P Diddy copycat in a way. And, from a sports card angle, it's not a good view. It just really isn't, that the head of Fanatics is being labeled as the White Diddler. Okay. Especially with everything that's going on right now in relation, to the trial of P Diddy. Now, I know that sports card fanatics worship this man, like he's a god. And, everyone makes, mistakes. I know Michael Rubin, he tends to, create a lot of issues, with what he talks about. I know he brought up a fact that he doesn't like how, blacks are tearing down other blacks and this and that. And, that caused a wave, in the black community to an extent. But how do you feel about this label, with the center of the sports card universe, basically, being known as the White Diddler, with all these rumors that are floating around, once you dig into it, I haven't even touched all of them. I just talked a little bit about, the Oreo hug, the White Diddler label. Anyway, what's your opinion on all this? I'd like to thank my subscribers. Thank my viewers. If you're a viewer and you haven't subscribed, it's 100% free. Just click the subscribe button. You'll help my channel out enormously. And I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here.